You missed this in Ghostbusters. After the Ghostbusters complete their first job and bust Slimer in the ballroom, it's time to get down to the most important matter: how much they'll be paid for their services. Even though Peter is the natural salesman of the group and does most of the talking, it's actually Egon, the brains of the group, who's really calling the shots. Watch closely, and you'll see that he actually signals how much they should charge for their services with a subtle hand gesture. You missed this in The Matrix Reloaded. The freeway used in the iconic chase scene isn't a real stretch of road at all, but actually a very expensive set. The scene was shot on a 1.4-mile-long 3-lane loop built especially for the movie, with a price tag of $2.5 million, and after filming was finished, they simply destroyed it. You missed this in Reservoir Dogs. The budget for Reservoir Dogs was so low that the filmmakers had to come up with lots of ways to try and save money. Like for instance, having many of the actors provide their own wardrobes. Nice Guy Eddie's Nike track jacket was simply a jacket owned by the actor Chris Penn. You missed this in Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope. During the famous meeting where Darth Vader tells General Motti that he finds his lack of faith disturbing, pay attention to what the general was going to say just before Vader begins to force choke him. He's cut off just as he's about to say the words "Hidden Fortress." The Hidden Fortress is actually a film by acclaimed Japanese filmmaker Akira Kurosawa and was a major inspiration for George Lucas when he wrote Star Wars. Did you spot this in Maze Runner? Many, including the actor who played Newt, have wondered why the Gladers didn't simply bring a ladder and climb out of the maze. This issue is taken care of in the book, where the walls of the maze are much taller, which is why the Gladers weren't able to climb to the top. In the book, the maze is also contained within a dome, which means the sky and the weather are all artificial. Did you spot this in Interstellar? During the docking scene, Cooper tries to push his head in the opposite direction of the spin, but Brand lets her head go in the direction of the spin. Just like what would happen in real life, this leads to her blacking out, which shows that he's the more experienced of the two. You missed this in The Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. Take a closer look at this ranger in Osgiliath because he's someone very special. This extra is actually the book's author J.R.R. Tolkien's great-grandson making a cameo while wearing Viggo Mortensen's Aragorn wig. Did you know in Home Alone there is a reason why Kevin's ticket ended up missing? It wasn't clear if you were watching on a blurry VHS tape, but in high definition, you can see now that after the milk gets spilled during dinner, his ticket was accidentally thrown away in the cleanup. You missed this in The Prestige. The main characters in the film, played by Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman, have a trick hidden right in their names that you definitely missed. Take a look at their names: Alfred Borden and Robert Angier. Now look at their initials, ABRA, or the word abra, as in abracadabra, words commonly used by magicians. You missed this in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. There's something very special about the character Martini. Not only is he played by a young Danny DeVito, but his character was a pilot in the Vietnam War whose plane was shot down and started to sink in the ocean. Now, whenever he starts to feel nervous, such as during tense scenes in the film, he instinctively puts his feet up on his chair, as if he were still in the flooding cockpit of his plane.